Hey everybody, how you doing? Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios here. Welcome to December, 8th of December in fact. Wow, the year is almost done. I haven't done any videos for the last sort of week and a half or so. I've just been very busy since Swords and Sandals Crusader was, done and dusted. I decided I needed to patch all the other Swords and Sandals games, all 11 or 12 of them. There's a lot out there, and whenever I finish a sort of a major game and release it, I go back and try and go through the old games and just see what sort of bugs have come up and what people want fixed and balanced. And obviously I can't fix everything just because some of these games are ancient. Some of these games are from literally 2005 and earlier, if you consider that I started coding them before that, the original Sword and Sandals. So I'm going back in time 15 years for some of them. Crusader, the original, is 2007. Sword and Sandals 3 is 2008. So the Classic Collection especially is done in a language that, I still remember, but it's quite convoluted and hard to patch them. So I do apologize if I can't fix a lot of the things that you guys have been asking for. But there were certain things I was able to, fix up, especially in the Classic Collection, that I'm really pleased I'm able to bring to you, and I want to just go through them today and talk about some of the changes and updates for the games. So let's have a look at the change list for the Classic Collection first. Now this won't be really news to a lot of you because November 30 was when the Classic Collection patch went up, so 8 days ago, and I've been meaning to make a video on it for so long. I've just been busy, and anyway. The major update and kind of like the clickbait of the whole patch was the YETI project has been nerfed. I can't tell you how many emails and messages I've gotten over the years saying that boss was an absolute game breaker who, just made the game not fun. He was far too hard for I think it was the 6th Arena Champion Sword and Sandals 3, and he just stomped people because he had a weapon that was way more powerful than it needed to be. He had very powerful armor and so on. These are the patch notes you can kind of see if you sort of read along with me. The option is now yours to nerf him. So when you play Swords and Sandals 3 and you go to like the Pillars of the Champions, and a little fat kid will appear, the little fat kid, and he'll say, hey, look, I've got 1,000, I've got this potion, and for 1,000 gold, I will basically, sedate the Yeti. I'll drug him before the fight, and that basically weakens him. He doesn't wear his full armor set, and his weapon only does about half the damage. So he's still challenging. I haven't made him a complete walk in the park, but he's definitely much more beatable now, and I hope that makes the game a little bit more playable for you. There are still some other challenging bosses, and I know that a lot of people thought Galantris was very, very hard. Some people thought the Bladetron was hard, but never did I get as many emails as I did about Yeti Project. So much so that I decided to nerf him, but make it an optional nerf. The other big change to the Classic Collection was the resolution scaling. This is an option in the game. By default, it's actually turned on now. So when you load up the game, you'll see sort of what the resolution of the game might be played in. When you click on the little mini games, the Swords and Sandals 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll see new box art for them, and underneath that you'll see what the scale of the game will be. If you don't want that, you can go into the settings and just go highest resolution, which just changes it back to what it was before this patch. Now, the reason I brought in scaled modes is because you can imagine these games were made in, most of them 640 by 480 resolution, which is pretty small. And most monitors these days are 4 times that size in their resolution or more. Mine is like 920 by 1080 or something like that, and or maybe even higher. And when these games were packaged up and ported, to get them running full screen, I actually had no choice but to scale them up to fill the screen. And because they're vector games, vector-based games meaning mathematical calculations for all the drawings rather than bitmap for the most part, the games had to work quite hard to run them at full screen. And so you notice games like Crusader particularly, and Swords and Sandals 3 as well suffered this. There were frame rate issues, even on more powerful computers, and people would say to me, oh, hey, I've got a really good graphics card, and the game's still chugging. None of them use graphics acceleration like that, so that was never going to help your sort of Radeon chips and all that kind of thing. The NVIDIA chips, none of that mattered. What did matter was playing the game in a lower resolution. So this new patch would basically, when you run the game, it'll force your computer to run in either 640 by 480 or the default, which is 1280 by 640, by 960, sorry. It's too early for maths. I need a cuppa. Now, this, you'll see you run the game and it'll go, and you'll see it runs, it'll look a little less sharp, but you'll find it will run a lot quicker. Please try this out when you play the game, and if you find it creates any issues for you, just go back and run it in, full screen mode. You can also still run it in Windows mode as well. The other thing I added to the Classic Collection, this was more of something I wanted to do kind of for myself and posterity, for posterity reasons, and something for the hardcore fans, and that was, as I scroll down, to add drawings and art galleries to the patch. I'm going to go through them soon, and we can go through a few of the art gallery images. But in particular, I just wanted them, just to get out there, because I used to love drawing, and I just did a lot of Swords and Sandals art as a kid, long before I knew that the games were going to be called Swords and Sandals. A lot of the characters have drawings and so on. There's images from games that I made in the past that were sort of precursors to Swords and Sandals. If you are a real fan of what I do on the series and so on, I hope you find those interesting. They're just a little bonus. Other global changes to the games. Tome of Lore, you can now click on that and go to the website, which shows you the Tome of Lore, which is basically all the history of the series, the actual world history of Brandor, the characters and so on. I'm still working on that when I get time. I'm only up to Swords and Sandals 3. I need to do 4, 5, and, that kind of thing. This new game box art gallery, and now Bargle has been renamed to Bargle. As I knocked my microphone out of the way. In particular, Swords and Sandals 1, just that game was pretty, relatively bug-free. I had fixes a bug where the name of the character was not properly imported. Swords and Sandals 2, the major bug I fixed in this was when your gladiators were too far away from each other, you couldn't click on the buttons, and that was more of a problem with the port rather than the original Flash versions, because just in the way that the window scaled. But now if you're too far apart, you'll see a picture of your gladiator and your buttons will appear in the middle nice and big. A few other balance things, and fixed a bug where you couldn't switch between melee and range weapons. The other big one for that, enemy gladiators can no longer wield weapons they do not have the stats for, like daikatanas when they don't have the agility. That just makes the regular gladiators a bit more fair. Swords and Sandals 3 had a lot of fixes. Major bug where defeating a gladiator would actually delete deleting a gladiator would actually delete a different gladiator. I apologize to you if you've lost a gladiator in the past. It sucks, doesn't it? So hopefully this new version fixes that. I can't bring back your old gladiators, but anything you save from now on should be fine. Some exploits are fixed, lots of bugs fixed to do with items and undefined, not a number bugs and that kind of thing. Possible fix for the little grey and bloodied armor bits. The reason that happens is because they get loaded in separately, and sometimes the timing on them is not quite right, and it forgets to color them. It's old technology. This stuff is 2007. It's crazy. If I was to do it again now, I would do it very differently. And of course, if I do Swords and Sandals 6, when I do Swords and Sandals 6. I will be approaching it in a completely different manner using completely different software. So no more of those bugs, all new bugs. Swords and Sandals 4 was the other game that had a lot of work done to it. Player 1's gladiator is guaranteed to level up when completing a board game, no matter what position you finished in. So no matter what, when you finish a game, used to be you'd only get 25% or 50%, depending on where you finish. Now you get 100%. There's a bit of confusion here. People assume that meant every gladiator that played would level up. meaning other human players that played. Unfortunately, that's still not the case because it was never designed to sort of keep track of the stats and save the other gladiators. If I get time, I will try and work on a fix for that, and so you can save gladiators in player position 2 and 3 and 4. Shouldn't be that hard, but you never know what bugs it might introduce, so I'm just holding off on that for now. Gladiators receive bonus gold depending on which position they finish in. I've also reduced the level requirements to where you access each board. So it used to be you take up to level 10 before you could access the second board, third board, fourth board, the game boards you move around on. I just thought that was way too slow and required too much grinding, and people would get bored of the same map again and again and again. So every fourth level it updates. There's only actually 4 boards, but I flipped them and changed the color palette for a few of them. Arena champions are now much more likely to spawn in games, and they'll start appearing once you receive Gladiator level 4. Including the more powerful ones like Ultratus, Omega, and so on. If you have them in your game, you'll get a lot more gold. That's probably a bit of a bug. I might need to patch that, but I think it's just kind of fun to play against high-level characters and so on. It's they can still beat you, but you can still beat them in the mini games and so on. Other small bugs and typo fixes and sped some of the game twins to make the game a little more snappy. There were no noticeable fixes to Crusader or Mini Fighters or Gross Out, just because Gross Out is not a popular game, Mini Fighters is not a popular game, and didn't need much work. I did one tiny fix to Gross Out just to the end fight. I think it was sort of skipping the end fight or something. Mini Fighters is very unpopular. It's a bonus game, and it's pretty stable, if not that balanced. Crusader still has a few bugs, but that's one of the hardest games to fix, the original. So I just don't know if I can fix the bugs in that. That's why I recommend try the Redux version. Go out there and buy it today. It's available now on Steam. Sell. No, if you like Crusader and haven't played the Redux version, I do urge you to try it because it is, it's everything the original should have been, and I'm really proud of it. Let me now show you the art gallery before we go. Yeah, so here we are with the New Look Classic Collection. There, of course, is Antares Spruiking Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux. You can click on the Redux series and see all the new games available. Game settings. This is for the people wanting to change the screen resolution. I'll just tell you a little bit more about this. So highest res is what it used to be and looks very sharp. And if you have a super powerful computer like mine, the games run fast. If you don't, which a lot of people don't, I would suggest you choose this one, 1280 by 960, because that's double resolution, but it's definitely much faster. This, if you have a very slow computer, is 640 by 480, which is the original, and you think, oh, cool, I might play them in the original mode. It just kind of, at least on my machine, it looks very blurry. And what are you going to do? Like, it'll run fast, but it just might look too blurry. There's me in the background in my Games Gladiator helmet, and that's actually a red blanket. I thought it'd be kind of funny to put there. Ah, dear. Okay, and of course windowed mode, which you can see there, but let's go back to that. Let's have a look at the art gallery. Actually, quickly, new game boxes. Da-da-da. I just kind of did some mock-ups for game boxes I think look kind of fun, like such. And they all have them. And you can also see the screen mode there, and you can click on that to change if you wish. Takes you to the settings. All right. Now, if we go to art galleries, we've got 3 art galleries to select from. And I went through all my old files and, really trying to, dig up some of the classic stuff. The Flash era might be the stuff that you're most interested in terms of stuff that's most directly related to Swords and Sandals. But the Ancient era has, this is a logo that I literally did from in the late 90s in a program called Deluxe Paint. You can see little bits of text about all the different art. Chaos Inc. was the name of my little company, inverted commas, that my mate and I, Jeff Wicks, made when we were very young. Jewel of Heroes was basically the first arena fighting game, one of the first I ever made. Pixel art, before pixel art was cool, huh? And, this was one of the original arenas for the game. the Arena Golden Shield Armory. That's how old that is. That's, this is sometime in the 90s. Crazy. So, but, lots of that kind of art you can look through. The drawings, I done a lot of drawings over the years. A lot of people know that I did all the character art for Swords and Sandals, except for Mini Fighters and Medieval, but I did all the other character art. And, a lot of people like my drawing style. A lot of people don't, but if you like my drawing style, tons of artwork. There's Sir Belgrave, just from my collection of characters. Bargle, a Beholder. These are all from my old school books a lot of the time. I draw on notebook paper and so on. Belgrave and Wolfgang as kind of, Space Marines. The original Brandor map is kind of cool. But anyway, if you have the Classic Collection and update it, you can go through all those galleries. The Flash era. This was the very, very first drawing of a Swords and Sandals character. I did a little animated test as a knight in the desert. And this was the original title. A lot of people know this, but Who Wants to Be a Gladiator was what it was going to be called. And of course, that is our two gladiators. And that was some screenshots from the very first version before I even started at the old company that dare not reveal its name. I was doing this by myself, just working on this game, and I wish I just released it. Yeah, I wish I had. Yeah, the original Arena. That used to be a tavern you could go into, but I took that out for the final version. This was what it was. It was a 3D render, which is kind of crazy. And then I drew all over it. But there you go. Wow, a little trip down memory lane. Currently, I've patched the Classic Collection. I've also patched Swords and Sandals Pirates. I've patched Medieval. And those have had some significant changes to make the games a bit better. I'm patching Swords and Sandals 5 with some real great bug fixes for the game-breaking bugs that are in that. And that should be out tomorrow. And then in about a week and a half, possibly 2 weeks, Swords and Sandals 2 will be patched as well, meaning all the Steam versions of the games will be patched. Then I'll be working on the mobile port of Swords and Sandals Crusader, and then I'll go back and patch all the mobile versions of the games. So it's a busy time. It never really stops here at Whiskey Barrel Studios for me anyway. I'm working here full time now by myself, and it's great and I love it. But the more days I have, the more I have to do. Once this is all done and dusted, I can take a break. I'm going to play some games. I'm going to play some Stellaris. I'm going to sit back and relax a bit more and watch some more shows and so on instead of still working late at night. And actually, this next week I'm just going to take a bit of time out as well and start preparing in my head for future games, Swords and Sandals 6, etc. And just work out what I want to do next year and just mentally visualize it. It's very important to do that and at the end of the year, reflect. I'm going to go on one more hike before the end of the year. And when I do, I'll do a video and we'll just talk about next year. And I look forward to having your company with me on this little virtual hike. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate the slow but steady subscriber count growing. I'm sorry I don't reply to all the comments like I used to. I used to reply to every comment, but I've just been so busy. I feel bad because you write some great comments. I do read them all, and I want you to know that, at some point I can reply to more of them. And until next time, my friends, please update the Steam collection, Classic Collection on Steam if you have it, and update the other games, play the new versions. Let me know what you think. 2 and 5 will be coming very soon. And until next time, my friends, bye for now.